Alright, let's create a new diagram. Chapter 12, LDA, Linear Discriminant Analysis. Okay, so let's see whether we have, so we will use the universal bank data. Okay, so bring that in. Let's examine the variables. See age, CC average, see current education is coded as ordinal, experience, family, zip code is rejected. The personal loan is the target. Okay, so that's good. And let's do a data partition. And the data partition, well, 60/40. Okay. Now to run the discriminant analysis, we have to use SAS code. So bring in SAS code node, and SAS code node, the SAS code should be like a code that you would run with the SAS base SAS, okay, as opposed to the SAS code that you would run in a transform node. So transform node lets you run some code too, but that one you can just write a code, write like a macro or something. Whereas this one has to be a full code, meaning that you should have proc data or proc, that kind of statements. So let's go ahead and look at the actual code. And it's there in the, I have that in the Word document. So if you open that. Alright, so here is the code. So proc discrim, that's the procedure. So that will run discriminant analysis for you. And proc discrim has lots of options. Okay. You have to specify the data and then what is the target, and there are other options too, okay, but we are not going to get into any of those. So this is the bare bones discriminant analysis. Okay. So since we are using Enterprise Miner, there are the data sets have already been created, data tables from our data source. From our data source, okay, we have data tables coming in to the data partition, and out from data partition, so if you look at the export data, so, well, we haven't run the node yet, so let's go ahead and run the node. Okay, so now if you look at the exported data, you see that there is train and validate, and those two have data in it, and we did the partition 60/40, right? So there are macro variables available, or default macro variables that SAS Enterprise Miner automatically sets up, and we can invoke those macro variables. So if you go into the node, code editor, okay, so you see these are the macros that are available. Okay. The macro variables are here, and these are the regular variables from the data set. So macro variables, okay, automatically it is SAS Miner generates these, and we have exports. So this one is the variable that refers to the trained data set. Import. This one is coming in, right? So import train. The import data. Import data is the trained data set. Import train will bring us the import data. Import data brings them, and then there is validate, import validate. Import data is the trained data set. Import validate is the validate data set. So that's going to come in. So which is what we're going to use here. So data is a keyword. So we specify what the trained data is going to be. So this is the data that must be used to train the discriminant analysis. Test data, okay, that's your data on which you perform the testing. That is going to be the validate data set. Okay. And then we have to generate output. So out is the keyword again, and you specify what needs to be. This is going to be the output connected to the import data. Okay. And then test out is the output data for the test data. So data and out, they go together. If you leave these two lines out, then it will only give you the discriminant analysis results. It won't give you the discriminant analysis scores. Remember the scores that we computed in Excel? These scores. You want these scores for each record, then you have to specify the out. So out gives you the scores for the trained data, and test out gives you the scores for test data. So let's go ahead and copy paste this. Actually, if you're building this yourself, you can click, okay, and then drag and drop the variable like that. So that way you won't make typos when you're typing it in. If you want to do that, you can do that. See, it will copy paste that. We don't want that. I've already done that. The only thing that needs to be done now is the class. You have to now specify what the target is, and once again, you don't have to type this in yourself. Okay, that's where the target should go. If you click the variables tab, then you can look for where the personal loan is the target. So you click that, click hold, and bring it in. All right, so okay, so that's it. So now you have to save and exit, or if you simply exit, it will prompt you whether you want to save it, and you run. Okay, now look at the results. So it gives you the prior probabilities. Okay, and then so this is the generalized distance. This is the Mahalanobis distance that is used for generating the discriminant analysis equations, and here are the coefficients, constant, and the coefficients for each variable. Okay, and here we have the classification matrix for I think this is for the train, and this is for valid. Here is validate, there it is for train. So this table is for the train data set, and then if you go down further down, and you get the results for validate data set. Okay, and if you look at the exported data, okay, so now if you click on train and if you browse, so if you scroll over to the end, you will see the probabilities, the propensities. So these came out of the out. This is for train. So out gives you these. If you omitted the out option, then the exported train data will end with this column. You won't see any of these. Okay. Same thing for validate. If you click validate and browse, you see the propensities here. Okay. Now, of course, if you want further analysis with this, creating auto C curve and things like that, you can write another code node to generate all that, or you can import them into Excel and then do the further analysis that we have done in the past. Okay? Any questions?